Part 6. Call from the past. The road stretched like a flat ribbon across the endless prairie, like an invisible guide pulled through time and space. Jack drove slowly, his wheels gliding over asphalt that seemed even grayer under the muffled light of the weary sun. Baxter sprawled asleep on the seat, while the old radio hissed softly, catching fragments of a distant country song that drifted through the trailer like shadows of the past. Jack felt hollow, as if his heart had turned into a vast, empty space, and his thoughts had become longer roads than the road itself. Only the memories of Eva kept haunting him, reminding him that he could never return to his old life. The swamps of Louisiana had left behind a sticky taste of fear, the smell of rotting leaves, and the salty, bitter scent of fish. Now he felt a different taste, emptiness spreading between his ribs. A few days on lonely lakes, a fishing rod, Baxter, and nights parked by old wooden docks. It all felt meaningless without her. The further the road stretched, the more Jack realized. He wasn't driving for the sake of fishing or adventure. He was drawn to something else, to a thread from the past, a thread named Eva. Toward evening, he stopped at an abandoned gas station. The broken neon over the entrance flickered, casting pale blotches of light onto the cracked asphalt. The wind carried the smell of rain, and Jack stretched his legs from the cab, rolling his stiff back while Baxter tugged around, sniffing the dry grass. Jack climbed into the trailer to check his food and water supplies when his pocket buzzed. His phone. At first, he thought it was a bank notification, but on the screen glowed one word, Eva. Jack's heart froze, then burst into a furious pace. Without thinking, he pressed answered. Jack? Her voice was faint, like a whisper in the wind. Can you hear me, Eva? He exhaled, as if breathing again after being suffocated. Where are you? Silence. The static of the line, the roar of distant cars, or maybe just the wind. It was impossible to tell. Then a quiet, broken laugh. I don't know why I'm calling, she whispered. I knew you'd pick up. Of course I would. He leaned his shoulder against the trailer, afraid his knees might give. It's been so many days. I thought you'd disappeared. Maybe I have. Her voice trembled. Jack, have you ever felt like the world was slowly closing in on you? Like the air shrinks a little more every day? He swallowed hard. Eva, what happened to you? A long pause. In the receiver came the muffled rumble of a train, or maybe the wind. Her breathing was quick, uneven. I can't say anything yet, she whispered. Just, if you ever want to find me, look where the water is darker than night and where birds don't sing even in the day. The line crackled and went dead. Jack stood there for a long time, holding the phone in his hand, while Baxter nudged his leg gently with his nose. Jack replayed every word of her voice in his mind, every broken tone, every trembling note of fear and hope. For the first time on this journey, Jack felt a purpose. Not a lake, not fishing, not another night parked on the roadside, but a search. A search for Eva. He lifted his eyes to the horizon, where the sun hid behind clouds, painting the sky a bloody red. Somewhere out there, ahead, was the place where he might find her. The next morning, Jack woke early, spreading a map on the table. His laptop screen flickered with old photos. In one, she stood on a bridge over a narrow, dark river, holding her wet hair in her hands, and not a single bird flew in the sky around her. He traced a line on the map, plotting a route through the southern states, to wild Texas lakes, to flooded quarries near New Orleans, to dark rivers. He didn't know exactly where to look, but he knew he had to start. Jack drove on, the prairie stretching around him like a calm trap. He listened to the wind, knowing each turn of the road could hide a new danger. By a dark lake, he spotted a small village built on wooden stilts. There, in the silence and faint mist, stood a tall man with a northern accent, cleaning his boat. He introduced himself as Lucas. Rough part of the world, friend, Lucas said, his glance at Jack's trailer mixing caution with curiosity. The water here is dark, and the shadows even darker. Not every fish is worth catching. Jack nodded, tense, listening carefully. Inside, he felt Lucas could help him or betray him, but there was no time to hesitate. They agreed to travel together, though Jack's doubts about the questionable, slightly dangerous company remained. Evening came quickly. Jack and Lucas set up camp on the lake's shore, lit a fire, grilled fish, while Baxter watched, shaking his ears in annoyance. Jack spread out his map, noting routes and replaying Eva's voice in his head. Lucas warned about dangerous river passages and flooded quarries. The firelight threw restless shadows, and in the flicker of their glances lay fragile trust. At dawn they set out by boat into the dark water. The lake seemed endless, its surface mirroring the gray sky, shadows moving swiftly and unpredictably among the reeds. Jack felt every shift of the boat, every tremor in the paddle. Suddenly, water splashed behind them, something massive breaking the surface, leaving black waves. Alligator! Lucas shouted. The boat rocked, water splashing into Jack's face. His heart exploded in his chest. The alligator lunged at the boat, but Lucas thrust his paddle hard, driving it back. Jack pulled the engine cord, and the boat shot forward. They barely escaped the predator, adrenaline coursing through Jack like fire. But his heart pounded not only from fear, from the thought of evil waiting somewhere ahead. That evening they stopped at another lake, even darker than the last. Jack tucked old photos of Eva into his jacket, extinguished his lantern, and sat in the quiet tent, his thoughts circling a single goal: to find her. He no longer belonged to himself. His route, his choices, his nights and days, everything was tied to Eva, to the thread she had thrown to him from the shadows. The reeds rustled in the wind. Fog slowly swallowed the horizon, and Jack sat knowing dangerous waters, dark rivers, and incredible trials lay ahead. But fear no longer stopped him. He was willing to risk everything, because every moment could bring him closer to Eva. Well, Bax, Jack whispered, stroking the dog's head. Looks like we've got ourselves a new course. Baxter barked softly in agreement. Jack folded the map, tucked it into his jacket, and closed his eyes for a moment, breathing in the night air and the scent of water. He knew his journey had become something greater than escape from his old life. It was a path to her, to the dark water where the night is pale by comparison, and where no birds sing even in the day. His path was clear now, and though the road ahead was long and dangerous, he no longer felt alone. His heart followed the thin, unbreakable thread of hope, pulling him forward through the darkness, through fear, through solitude. And Jack knew that somewhere ahead, among the dark rivers and drowned lakes, she was waiting.